This is the new 2025 Toyota Tundra SR5 with the TRD Rally Package. What's a TRD Rally Package? Well, we're going to check out all the features, take it for a drive, off-road with it, tow with it, and then take it to the mountains to find out. That's coming up right now on Driving Sports TV.
This episode is brought to you by Onyx Off-Road. Save 20% off a new membership using the code DSTV.
If you're a fan of Toyota, you're well aware that there are quite a few trims and packages with the TRD name. I mean, we got TRD Pro, TRD Off-Road, TRD Sport, and I'm sure I'm forgetting at least one other. So what exactly is TRD Rally? Well, it is a new $8,660 package for the Tundra that bundles the off-road goodies that come with the TRD off-road package, along with a large 14-inch display, dual-zone climate controls, and retro-inspired graphics and colors. Here, 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 and here. Oh, and here, and here. It also has Bilstein shocks, a skid plate, mud guards, an electronically controlled rear locker, and Toyota's multi-terrain select and crawl control systems. Ground clearance is listed at 9.3 inches, which is the standard ground clearance for an SR5. Though you can get the Tundra SR5 with either a 6.5 or a 5.5 foot composite bed, along with a couple different cab configurations, the TRD Rally package is only available on the smaller bed with the Crew Max cab. Total payload here is stickered at 1,330 pounds or 603 kilograms. Towing capacity is 12,000 pounds. On the website, they do list max capacity at 1,940 pounds. Our tester here also has a power rear gate, a 400-watt AC inverter, as well as bed rails and a bed mat. Under the hood is a standard twin-turbo V6 that produces a peak 389 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. A more powerful turbo hybrid is also available. Suspension is multi-link in the front and a solid axle with coil springs in the rear. The wheels are 18-inch alloys wrapped with Michelin LTX trail tires, which are mud and snow rated, but they don't have a 3-peak designation for deep snow. The spec sheet does call these all-terrain tires, but I think that's a stretch. Price as it sits here with a couple extra options, $62,442 US, including destination. Now, we have a busy day ahead of us as we're going to, of course, take this off-road. I'm also going to use it to tow us side-by-side on a flatbed, and then we're taking it to the mountains to tackle some snow and ice. But first, let's just take it for a normal drive. Right, so on the inside here, the interior does look like a standard Tundra, but we do have, of course, some of that retro throwback that I was talking about earlier. Over here, we have the Sundowner stripes, and then over here, we have them on the seat as well, although you can't really see them unless you're looking square on. It's kind of an interesting effect. As for the rest, it's typical Tundra. You get a lot of usable space down here. I do like how they've really centralized a lot of the off-road and transfer case controls right here. And then the steering wheel is a nice wrapped one with the TRD logo. And then we have controls for, of course, audio, settings, as well as adaptive cruise control on the right. Now, for gauge cluster, we don't get a full digital unit at this trim level. We have analog on both sides with a little panel in the middle that gives us most of the information that we need on a day-to-day basis. This also has dual zone climate control right there, which is nice. Now, let's talk about this display. It is, of course, running the latest version of Toyota's infotainment system. This is a pretty good system. I don't love the menu structure, but as far as the core functionality, it's right where it needs to be. We have maps built in. You can also go in and adjust vehicle settings. You can synchronize your phone with it. And, of course, it also supports wireless Android Auto as well as wireless Apple CarPlay. And that brings us to the sponsor of this video, Onyx Off-Road, because maps are amazing on a large 14-inch display. Whenever we head out to the trail, I load up offline maps into my iPhone with Onyx Off-Road. That means I will always know where I am and where I'm going, even if I lose signal. Onyx continues to innovate with great new features being added all the time, like shareable routes. Plot a course or multiple courses and share them with your friends or the world. Onyx Off-Road also recently added new navigation tools. Yeah, just like the navigation you would find in Google Maps or Apple Maps. Although now you can navigate across the mountains or just across town. Start your own adventure today with a subscription to Onyx Off-Road. Use the code DSTV, that's short for Driving Sports TV, to save 20% off your new membership. I would recommend going up with Elite because with that you also get property owner information, which is really great to know if you're crossing through private property or public lands, especially out here in the West. Sometimes it's not terribly clear. Well, today we're going to start in the roads here around our Peninsula Proving Grounds. Then I'm going to go pick up a side-by-side and tow it back here. And then we're going to see just how this does off-road. Now, one of the tricky things when buying an off-road rated truck is that very often their towing capacity isn't very good. This one, I'm thinking, might be almost the perfect middle ground because not only does this truck have, a decent amount of off-road kit, it also is still rated to tow up to 12,000 pounds. That's impressive. Let's do it. Right. Ooh, it's got plenty of power. Oh, yeah. So as far as comfort goes, the seat is pretty comfortable. I mean, I've never had an issue with Toyota seats. They also have 3 stages of heat here. They do not get cooling at this trim level. Visibility is pretty good, although I am rather tall at 6'1". People who are on the shorter side might have trouble looking over the hood. Also, you cannot adjust the pedal distance with the controls here, so you're going to have to use just the seat to get in a good position. If you're a smaller stature person, maybe you should take a look at a GM product for that reason. I think one of the biggest complaints that I can level against Toyota is you just cannot get this truck with a Torsen center diff. It's only a part-time 4-wheel drive system. That was fine for a decade ago, but these days, people want options. And yeah, they offer it on the Tacoma, and that's nice if you get the limited, but they don't put it on their off-road trim. So whether you're looking at Tundra or Tacoma, if you want an off-road trim, you simply are not getting one with full-time 4-wheel drive. And I think that's a real miss. It's actually one reason why I really like my Land Cruiser is it does have that full-time 4-wheel drive system using an advanced Torsen diff in the middle, which is very cool. Of course, this is a Toyota, so it comes with a full suite of active safety. We have collision mitigation, blind spot warning. We also get full surround view camera. And I do especially like the option, when I click view here, I can look at the contents of my bed with a live camera feed. Very cool. I'm always really nervous about stuff that I put in my bed. Did I tie it down enough? Is anything flying out? Well, that's excellent for peace of mind. Adaptive cruise control on this truck is just like all the other Toyotas. Basically, you just turn it on here. It'll do both lane detection as well as the adaptive cruise function, pacing the vehicle in front of me. And it works pretty good. Yeah, no complaints here. It is funny though, after being in so many other vehicles that have full digital displays, because everything's kind of going to that for gauge clusters, to come back to this truck that has 2 big dials and a tiny little multicolored display that's like out of a, I don't know, it's like out of a Corolla from 10 years ago or something. Now, in terms of power, this thing not only sounds great, it feels really good. I mean, I honestly don't even know why you really need the hybrid unless you want, higher output from an inverter for AC power, or you just want the extra power. This feels like plenty of power to me in a Tundra. And the fact that this is still rated to tow 12,000 pounds tells me, yes, it's enough power. Okay, so let's talk about towing. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna hook up a side-by-side on a flatbed. The flatbed itself is about, the trailer I think weighs about 1,600 pounds, maybe 1,700 pounds. And then the side-by-side itself is about 3,000 pounds. So you're looking at close to around 5,000 pounds total, ballpark. It's obviously not going to strain the truck, but it'll give us a good idea as to how the towing functions work in here and whether or not, this is something that you want to tow with every day. Flip this around and get it lined up, and then load up the side-by-side. Actually, I could tell with the resolution on the camera here, it was good enough that I could tell that my ball was below the hitch, so that's good. Let's get this thing hooked up. we go. Okay, trailer's all attached, brakes have been checked. Now we just need to pull the trailer out a little bit so we can load this on. Trailer detected. Oh, that's nice. PKSB off, RCTA off, and lane centering off. That all makes sense. Oh, immediately it's asking, do I want to add a trailer? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Say okay, add new trailer. We're gonna call this one utility. The hitch type is a ball. What are my other options? Fifth wheel or gooseneck? Yep, definitely don't have those. The length, ooh, how long is this? This is a 17-foot trailer, so we'll just go ahead and put 18 foot because that's the closest it has. Brake type, it is electric over hydraulic. It's electric, 5,000 pound plus, and we should be good to go. And we'll double check the brakes once we get this loaded up. Right, let's load up the side-by-side. Checking, lights all work, lights, so the hookup's good. Okay, it's true, I probably should have put it into four-wheel drive before I backed it up, but we got up, it's all good. The Polaris Xpeditions, they have their motor in the back, which is why we back it on, so most of the weight is in front of the wheels. If you have weight behind the wheels, you're gonna get a lot of wagging while towing. Don't want that, can be very dangerous. So because I'm towing, I wanna bring up my tow menu in this tiny little gauge cluster. So right now my gain is at 0, so it's not outputting anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with 2, and we're gonna see how that does. As I pull out of here and go down the hill. So obviously this payload is significantly below what this truck is capable of. In fact, this is about half, if you can believe it. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and stop here and check around to make sure everything is hooked up. So chains aren't dragging, wires hooked up. These all seem to be holding. Well, that's a little loose. We'll get one more crank there. Okay, and the whole thing seems to be mostly level. That'll be fine for what we're towing today. Oh, I do need to check the brakes to make sure that they're grabbing with enough force. So I'm just gonna drive at a little bit of speed here. And I'm gonna put my brakes on. We should have, now I need a little bit more force. There we go. Yeah, just enough to almost grab the brakes completely, but not all the way. Right, let's do this. Okay, this is a very steep hill, but the weight of this vehicle, the long wheelbase, it all just makes this work much better. And of course, my trailer does have brakes, which makes things very useful. So the mirrors would be nice if they were a little bigger, but I have to say, like, this thing, it's effortless, which obviously you hope it's going to be because, yeah, that's kind of the point of buying a Tundra, right? Everybody who buys a Tundra tows, right? Let's get this thing a little bit more work. So we're now gonna drive up a road that is a 12-degree slope, pretty steep. So even with this engine, which is not the most powerful option you can get for the Tundra, towing is pretty effortless. No big deal at all. Even coming to a complete stop at probably 10 degrees, add some throttle, and away we go. Let's see how it does on the highway. Away we go. Let's get up to speed. 40, 45. You know, this thing's super easy to tow with. It just is. To test the off-road capability of this TRD Rally, we're actually going to take it on our landslide course. Now this is not a extremely complicated course, but it will test things like approach angle, breakover, as well as the ability to shift power in tricky situations. So put it into park, actually going to put it into neutral because we need to switch into 4 low. Hear things clicking around, put it into drive. Now at this point I can hit the view camera and it will automatically, and it will turn on the trail camera, which will help me with positioning of my wheels, which is especially good because this hood is massive. So hard to kind of see where my wheels are, but thankfully really great camera system here helping out. Now we can pick a number of different multi-terrain select modes. Let's see what we have for this. Rock, mud, sand, and mogul. Let's go ahead and do rock to start. That'll minimize wheel spin, although we shouldn't see much of that here. This also has a rear locker if I feel like I want to engage it. But right now, let's just use MTS, which is kind of like a wheel braking torque vectoring system. Now, there is underbody protection on this thing, but, and the big but, it does not have any rock rails, and the plate in the front is rather small. We're already scraping our, we're already scraping our mud flaps, but so far so good. This camera is doing an amazing job. I mean, really, this camera is the second best reason to get the big 14-inch display. Turn that beeping off. Can I turn that beeping off? There. The first reason, of course, is for our sponsor, Onyx Off-Road, so you can run those big maps, which are awesome. Okay, ooh, we're gonna drag a little bit on the rocks here. Oh, but we're getting over this, which is great. Once we get over the rocks, we have a little muddy section with some wheel lift. But yeah, so far so good. I keep waiting to hear a crunch, and I haven't heard any yet, so that's good. Right, okay, got out of that. Now let's hit the moguls. And for that, we actually do have a program on here on MTS specifically for moguls. So let's give that a try. Okay, here we're gonna see a little bit of side-to-side action in a slippery, muddy little bog we have here. So look for that articulation on the outside. But also this is a good opportunity for these LTX trail tires to shine. Ooh, you see that wheel braking system kicking in? MTS doing a great job of getting us through. No locker on yet, but we're still getting through it. Very nice. Their traction control system is just so good. Okay, now the moguls. Now that we've absolutely loaded up these tires with mud, let's go over these moguls. Make sure we're in MTS mogul mode, which you already were. Look for that side-to-side action. Look, see how much a wheel is tucking up inside the fender. That's actually a very good thing. That's what you want. So go side to side. And out of the moguls, no problem. Okay, now we got sand slide. Okay, so now we're gonna max out that approach angle here. We're gonna take the hard line and see how much lateral sliding we get. Actually, not a lot. That's actually not bad. Dip our tire down into the hole. Watch that back driver's side. How much air are we getting there? Feels like it is lifting up a little bit. See how much clearance we got there? Oh yeah, we definitely have. I mean, it's not bad as far as articulation goes. A little bit more would be good, but so far I'm actually pretty impressed with this truck. I mean, because you got to ask yourself, how hard of a trail are you actually going to take? Dip down, over we go, and out over the ridge line, and then we'll be wrapped with this section. Okay, we got a little bump here. Crank it over. Love this camera system still. Now, keep in mind, so far I've done all of this with just MTS. I haven't had to turn on that rear locker at all. Dip down, no problem. Oh, a little bit of brake vectoring happening there, but it's working. Nice. Right. Oh man, this is a big truck to take up here. So yeah, driving, excellent. Towing, very good. Off-road, do you need more? Maybe. Now we're gonna take this on the ultimate challenge. We're gonna head to our mountain test course and see how it does in the ice and snow. So let's head out. This is, of course, our mountain test course, and here we will test the snow-going capabilities of this Tundra. Now, of course, keep in mind, this Tundra is running stock tires. These are the Michelin LTX Trails. These are not a very aggressive tire, so they're not going to be terribly helpful today, but they are mud and snow rated. So what we'll see today is kind of what you can expect as far as the limits of the capability of this truck as it comes from the dealer. Now, obviously, if you live in a snowy area, you have to drive over mountain passes, or you have forest roads you need to go on, obviously you're going to change your tires. But this will kind of give you a baseline as to how far this truck can go. So, right here, we're going to go ahead and keep it into 4 high. I am going to go ahead and switch to MTS, which will turn on the multi-terrain select. And when I do this, I get a couple options. We have dirt, sand, mud, and deep snow. I'm going to go ahead and pick deep snow because we're going to hit that in just a little bit. Although I think ice is actually going to be more of a problem. You see a lot of snow around here right now. A lot of that is snow that has melted, that has re-iced up. So yeah, the snow, it's not light and fluffy. It isn't. This is hard stuff. The temperature right now, according to the truck, is 25 degrees Fahrenheit, so quite cold. Okay, let's do it. Oh, see how hard this ice is. Yep. Oh, whoa, oh. All aboard, man. This is crazy. Okay, it's smoothed out now. That's nice. Yikes. So we do have to be careful because we actually do have rocks lining the ditch. They kind of get hidden in the snow, so I have to make sure that I stay on the main track and I don't get askew. There's also a rock on the inside about 3/4 of the way up our hill climb here, so that's also something to look out for. Right, so this this is actually very challenging when it's covered in ice. This is normally our main entry into our test hill, but in the winter, it becomes actually one of the obstacles. It's just going to be, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So we have taken several vehicles up here recently, the Ranger Raptor, the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, Honda Ridgeline. So there's many ways we can attack this hill. We can either do the, pedal to the metal, 4 high, let's spin the wheels all the way up. But because it's so cold, I think I actually might have a little bit of grip working for me here, so long as I don't spin the wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it into 4 low. Put this in neutral. Okay, now we're in 4 low. Put it into drive. I'm going to switch the MTS mode to rock. And the reason I'm doing rock is because that is the least amount of wheel spin. This vehicle does not have a locker on the front, so what I want to do is minimize wheel spinning and icing up underneath it. Further, I'm going to go ahead and lock that rear diff. Again, I just want to make sure that we can just creep along here. Now, I have not aired down my tires yet. They're currently at the stock pressure, which is about 38 PSI on all corners. And I'm just going to try to slowly keep enough momentum that I'm not spinning tires, but I am moving forward. Let's see how well we do here. Now, one of the advantages we have today is the fact that it's 25 degrees, so everything is a hard freeze. The last couple times we've been up here, it has been really slushy and right on the edge of freezing. You can see, obviously, we're having a heck of a time with grip here, but I think we're gonna get all the way up to the midpoint. which is good. Oh yeah, great, made it. Whew. So these LTX tires, even though they're just M+S rated, they do have siping on them, which does help with grip. So they're really not horrible in the snow and ice. So unlike the other times when we've been up here this season, today we actually have a genuine hard freeze, probably a couple inches of ice here. So that actually is a different type of condition than loose, soft snow. And the tires here are actually advantageous to this kind of weather. Let me show you. Do you see how this tire is actually holding on to the snow? That actually improves grip because snow on snow is actually pretty grippy. Now, if this was loose, soft stuff, we would want more like all-terrain tires to kind of help dig through the snow. But I think today, that's actually going to be to our advantage. And you can see it actually helped us climbing up this first hill. This is straight ice. There is nothing but ice under here, and we just climbed up it no problem. So yeah, let's see how it does. We'll try to go up the midway, and then we're gonna try to see if we can go all the way to Grandma's house. The lookout, the highest lookout. So we'll go up and down it, and then if that's okay, then we'll try some other methods. But first we're gonna try the low and slow way. 4 low, slow speed, rock mode on MTS. And let's see what it does. Also, keep in mind there are ruts that are frozen into place left over from the earlier tests we did this, or I guess it was last month, back in January. So those are going to kind of, I don't know, guide us around. They might have their way with us. And we do have, of course, a little over 9 inches of ground clearance here, so we have a pretty good amount of ground clearance at our disposal, but that ditch on the inside looks pretty darn deep, so I want to try to avoid it. Okay, did it. No problem at all as we slide into that ditch. Okay, now I'm going to flip it around. We're going to go down, and I want to actually try a different method here. So of course I did bring traction boards with me, and there is a shovel somewhere here on the property. But if we get high centered, that's not digging out fluffy snow, it's going to be picking ice, and I'd rather not do that today. Okay, there we go. Whoop, and into the ditch. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing again, but I'm going to do a different approach. I'm going to do the 4 high spinning wheels approach, and we'll see how far that gets us. And in case you're wondering, yes, that is a very far drop off right behind me, just in case you're curious. I would land on my neighbor's shed in progress. Okay, so let's switch this, go to neutral. We're going to go to 4 high. I'm going to engage the rear locker. But I'm not, because Toyota does not let us engage a rear locker in 4 high. True story. But I am going to go ahead and switch MTS to MTS Deep Snow, which should allow for some wheel spin, and it'll do wheel braking to kind of mimic a locker for us. So let's see what we can do here. Punch it and floor it. Now this is a lot of truck to be kind of flailing around on ice and snow, so forgive me if I'm not full throttle the whole way. Oh, yeah, we're getting that rut actually is okay. Whew, I was worried about that because we just fell right into it. And that worked. I will say, for those of you watching who are like, gee, which method should I use? Use the low and slow method. It's safer. Now, let's take a look at what we have here. This is all rutted out from earlier runs, but it's icy now. I'm wondering if we can get across this connector and go all the way to the top. Let's take a quick look at what we have going on here. Yep, that's, whoa. So that's a lot of ice, but we are rutted, and the rut and the middle section is a little soft, so I don't think we're going to high center. I think high centering would be my biggest concern here. Yeah, let's set up for this run. So the technique I think for this is we're gonna go to 4 low, neutral, back to drive, and then because we're in 4 low, we'll pick MTS rock, because that technique worked pretty good on that previous section. And let's go ahead and lock that rear diff. See, gotta roll forward for it to lock. Now we're locked. Now, this also, of course, has a really good camera system, so I can go ahead and pull that up. Our trail camera, which we used earlier, which will help me kind of see where the heck I'm going, because this hood is so big. Ooh, a lot of snow on that breakover, dragging a little bit on the ice, but not too bad. Now, the thing here is not just to go slow, but also keep enough momentum. It's a delicate balance. Okay, oh, this is actually not so bad. Once we got over that ridge right there, not sure how this is gonna be though. This could be a challenge. So I'm gonna go ahead and charge it a little bit because I don't wanna lose momentum. Keep the wheels spinning a little bit, see if we can get all the way to the top. Oh, come on, come on. We got momentum here. Okay, I want to dial back just a little bit. Gonna go for a little more grip. Yeah, once I actually ease up on throttle, I can feel this charging forward just a little bit better. But I hit the limit. It's this hill is a little bit steeper right at the end, and I didn't have enough momentum. I was backing off, trying to get more traction, and I backed off a little too much, apparently. Back down. Cue dramatic music. And I got nothing. Okay, let's try this again. Keep in mind, this is ice. This is a sheet of ice that I am climbing up. So, no small feat. And I have not aired down, which is probably making things a little more difficult. But then again, these tires, they just don't really have, I don't know, airing down a mild trail tire, kind of like, what's the point? Okay, can I do this? Can I? Dang. I've iced up. Okay, we are just spinning wheels on ice now. Let's see if crawl control can get us out of this. Why not, right? Let's just do it. Sure. Let's do crawl control low. See what we got. Crank it up. Crawl control can do a great many things. However, it does have some limitations. And I think we're kind of hitting its limit right here. Okay, let's put a brake to that. Let's try going crawl control in reverse now. See if we can get out of this hole we just created for ourselves. Yeah, there we go. Yay, gravity. Okay. So, if we get far back enough here, let's go ahead and turn off that rear locker, which we'll turn off in a second. See if we can just kind of creep our way up over this. Oh, wow. No, that's pretty bad. Have we found our limit? Is our hero going to get stuck? Maybe. Come on. Yeah. Okay, let's turn off crawl. That's obviously not doing anything for us. Okay, get up on the ridge. Can I avoid that little ice hole right there? Dang. I think we might have hit the limits of what we can accomplish with this setup. So there are a couple things I could do at this point. I could obviously add chains. Chains would get us up, and there's no doubt. So let's not even worry about going there. I just kind of wanted to see what this stock setup would do, and I think, yeah, it did really good. We were within a couple feet of getting to our destination, and that's actually pretty impressive. So let's get out and take a look here, see if we're going to call it quits. Oh yeah, that's a lot of snow behind me. It's a lot of snow in front of me. Oh, I am digging into ridges here. Yeah, that's not terribly helpful. You know what? Maybe we will air down. So these are a very easy to use air down tool. I just got them on Amazon. These ones are brass and they're really nice. They're not cheap, but they work really well. I basically set a target PSI, screwed on the cap, and it just goes there. Very handy. Oh, I'll put a link down in the description. About 16 PSI all around. Here we go. Yeah, feel good about this one. Yep, there we go. Got on top. That's key. Now let's see. Make sure I'm not gonna jam anything under these as I swing the nose around this way. Maybe actually I'll charge forward and forward. There we go. Yeah. Okay, let's set it up for another ascent. And this time, I'm not gonna go into that hole over there. Okay, so we got out of the hole. Now let's see if we can get to the top. Remember, we are aired down, and that should help us on that last little bit. And I'm gonna try to keep my speed consistent, keep the grip, don't spin the tires because then they'll ice up under them. But I have to accelerate a little bit because the end is going to be the trickiest spot. So now here I'm going to accelerate and try to chew through and to the top. We made it all the way. Woo! We did it. Good job, Tundra. So if you're going to compare the Tundra versus, say, like the Ford F-150 or the Chevy Silverado, I think its biggest advantage, honestly, is the traction control systems. Crawl didn't help us today that much, but crawl is really good, specifically in like sand. If you're stuck like up to the axles in sand, it can crawl out in that situation. However, when you have zero grip on all four corners, there's really not much it can do. That said, the MTS system, if there is this much grip available, it will find it and it will help you. So it is actually a remarkable system. Even though you can't get this with a front locker, MTS kind of gets you 75% of the way there. So let's just recap what we did. We went on the road, very comfortable truck. And this truck averaged over 17 miles to the gallon for that whole run, which for a full-size truck, I think is actually pretty good. Towing, very competent. Although it lacks some of the toys that the Ford F-150 offers, it still is very competent at its job, even with this, the lower spec engine. And then in the dirt, I mean, it got through our course. And yeah, that course, it's not the hardest, but it is about as hard as anybody would probably ever attempt with a truck that's like this, because this is not a purpose-built rock crawler. It's not a purpose-built desert runner. It is a jack of all trades. And I think that trail was very typical of what you'll find in the more complicated forest roads, at least here in the Pacific Northwest. So in the snow, these Trail LTX tires actually aren't bad. They do a good job at gripping onto snow to give you that snow on snow grip that you need in everyday snow driving conditions. Now they don't have big enough blocks to really help with like deep snow clawing, but you know, that is more for people who want to do that kind of for fun, or if you really have like a lot of deep mountain snow you need to get through. In that case, you absolutely should buy a tire that's better suited for that. Likewise, if you're going over a mountain pass all the time, or you're driving in a place that actually gets snow for multiple months of the year, then please get proper winter tires. However, for the occasional snow, these tires actually aren't bad. They actually surprised me. They were better than I expected. Now, finally, we have to talk about the fact that this is a TRD rally. It's basically a TRD off-road with some premium features and some extra stickers. I have to say, as far as the exterior looks, I kind of love the stickers, and I didn't think they would have as much of an impact on me, but every time I look at this truck in a photo or in video, I'm like, dang, that is a good looking truck, especially with this silver matching those stickers. But maybe it's just me. What do you think? Post a comment below. Is it worth the more than $8,000 option? I don't know, that's up to you. Please leave a comment. Do you like this? Is this the one you would get? Or would you just get a standard TRD off-road premium? Post a comment below. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you again right here real soon. We did it! Oh. Woohoo!